What's up, everybody? Welcome back inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center. A little different setting here, Tim. We're in the lobby, the Bigs lobby. Some cool Ohio State pictures around us, and there were some cool Ohio State players inside on the practice field. A couple assistant coaches, Perry Eliano, the corner safeties coach, easy for me to say, cornerbacks coach Tim Walton, and then two corners and however many safeties it takes to get the job done. A lot of guys had some thoughts. Biggest takeaway, I'll go first, Tim. The cornerback room seems healthy. They're not fully healthy yet, but they expect to be there. The words September 3rd were said more today than they have been at any point in this camp. All eyes are officially pointed toward Notre Dame for that big showdown against the Fighting Irish here in just 11 short days, maybe 10, once people see this video. But the cornerback room feels like it's going to be back and healthy. That means Denzel Burke will be back and at full strength. That means Cameron Brown will not be on that pitch count that he's been on. That means Jordan Hancock might even be available for action. J.K. Johnson, all these guys who have been banged up, they seem like they're ready to go. And if you take one thing away from this facility tonight, that's got to be it.
Yeah, the guy I'm interested in on whether he's going to be available, he's going to be Jordan Hancock because of the hamstring pull. You don't want to mess with that until it's fully healed, if in fact it can get to that point. But yeah, that's good news. I mean, obviously Jim Knowles, when we got to talk to him on Monday, was fired up because he thinks they're going to be all hands on deck for the most part. Maybe for the first time of preseason, starting maybe next week as they prep for Notre Dame. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes because it's so vital to this defense, to any defense, but it's vital to this defense to have two stud corners out there. And if Denzel Burke and Cam Brown are both ready to go, that's a plus. It is also a plus how much work J.K. Johnson has gotten during camp. I don't know if you agree. Jordan Hancock was on that same track till he had that hamstring pull and is dealing with it. And and then Cam Martinez. I keep reminding people, Cam Martinez is my guy that I expect to somehow or another play a huge role on this team, on this defense this year in some form or fashion. Whether it is at a safety, whether it is at a corner, for somebody going down, etc. So they've got the athletes to get the job done. Now the trick is to get them to game day.
Yeah, I asked about Cameron Martinez today, and I think I'm going to write about him, on Wednesday for LettermenRow.com. That, what makes him an intriguing option for both Tim Walton and Perry Eliano to want him in the room taking reps with each of their position groups. And it was pretty much an easy answer, something anybody could have said. It's his versatility, his athleticism, he has a knack for making plays. He's one of those guys in the secondary that's just around the ball. And you can't really teach that. And so I think when you look at this defense, yes, Jordan Hancock coming back from an injury would be huge. J.K. Johnson gaining all those reps. But whether Cam Martinez is lining up as a safety 30 yards off the ball or whether he's in a nickel cornerback safety spot in the slot, press man against the ball. It's easy
for you to say.
Yeah, against the ball. I'm having a lot of those tonight for some reason. But, he's going to make an impact in this defensive rotation. He's going to make an impact in the secondary. We've been hearing his name since the spring. And another guy that you just seem like just continues to build that momentum is Lathan Ransom.
Yeah.
How do you come back from a snapped leg in just 6 months? I don't know, but he did it. He made it look pretty easy. Perry Eliano tonight talked about last night after the NIL event, Lathan Ransom wanted to come back here and get extra work in, so they went to the film room, late at night, with nobody else in here, making sure that Lathan Ransom got the work that he wanted to get in. That tells you everything you need to know about what Lathan Ransom's about. That tells you everything you need to know about his work ethic, and that also tells you that he will play a role because of the work that he's put in, not only to get back on the field, but to get back on the field and make a real impact. Jim Knowles likes him, Perry Eliano likes him, Ryan Day likes him, and I think the entire secondary likes having him on the field.
I'm confused because the guys we've named, we haven't even talked about this. Maybe the guys we think could be the starting safeties, maybe not. But Ronnie Hickman, Josh Proctor, and Tanner McAllister, whether that pans out, who knows? I don't know how you can go into this. I know you go into an opener with an idea in mind who you're going to play. An opener like this, you don't screw around. If this was Arkansas State this week, in the opener, you'd see a lot of guys playing back there. But Jim Knowles, as he's pointed out, is a guy that only likes to play three safeties most of the day. I mean the same players. And with so many guys we've named, most of those guys you named are sort of on the, well, wait a minute, are they going to start or not list? And if they're not, are they going to even get a shot?
Yeah.
To me, I find that puzzling because, you don't rave about a player like the way Jim Knowles did about Lathan Ransom, and Lathan Ransom only plays special teams in the opener.
Absolutely.
He's going to be on the field in some capacity. I think Josh Proctor's made big gains over the last couple of weeks. Agreed. I don't know if Perry Eliano, I didn't get to ask him that question, but I would think that he indicated that Josh Proctor has really come along. And Ronnie Hickman, of course, is going to be on the field. The question is, at that other spot, Tanner McAllister's spot, is there still big-time competition going on that may not be decided until next week? And would Lathan Ransom fit there? I mean, it looks like Lathan Ransom could play any of the three spots, but he's really big, as Jim Knowles pointed out. He's really big at ascertaining what is going on in front of him instantaneously, and then pulling the trigger and going to the point of attack or to where the fire is, either at the line of scrimmage or in the defensive secondary. So I don't know how you can rave about a guy like that and then him not play. So I expect to see him play, and maybe a lot.
And the same can be said about Court Williams. The same can be said about Cameron Martinez. And like you said, all three of those starting safeties, and I touched on it a little bit on Monday after we talked to Jim Knowles. I was a little bit more confused after the interview than before the press conference, just because you don't know how this safety pairing is going to happen. I know one thing, and I've been saying it for the entire summer.
Kind, not pair.
But I've been saying it the entire summer and now into camp, and Perry Eliano confirmed my priors tonight. He, as in Perry Eliano, is very confident in all six of those guys.
Yeah.
All six of them can and will play. Now, Jim Knowles, I think, is just, and I'm not going to speak because he is a much better defensive mind than I am, but there comes a point where you look at the talent on the roster.
I'm not laughing at you, I'm laughing with you.
Yeah, there comes a point when you look at the talent on the roster available for you at Cornell, Duke, and Oklahoma State, and you say, okay, I'm not used to rotating safeties.
Yeah,
and then
I've only got three that I really trust.
And then you get here, and like I said yesterday, the sixth best safety on the roster at Oklahoma State might be a 3-star from Ada, Oklahoma. The sixth best safety on this roster, as we think, is a top 50 player from Bellflower, California that started on St. John Bosco's national title team.
Yes.
So it is a huge difference. And so if Perry Eliano trusts all six of them, and if Jim Knowles trusts all six of them, you play all six of them. Because you
look at it,
the more fresh you can stay in the secondary, it's just like the defensive line, but different.
Yeah.
The fresher you can stay out there, the better you're going to be. And if all six of those guys are interchangeable, you just have a better chance of being successful in that secondary.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is Tanner McAllister has been literally the linchpin to Jim Knowles' defense the last couple of years at Oklahoma State. I mean, just the way he plays, the way he knows the defense, what he has brought to the table here, helping these other guys learn this defense in rapid fire fashion. Mm-hmm. This hadn't been a 3-year project. This was an 8-month project. It looked like it's come along pretty well. To quote Ryan Day, the proof will be in the pudding. Absolutely.
Yep.
But when you look at, like you were just talking about the talent on hand, to me the only real question mark is Tanner McAllister a starter in this defense. Do you follow what I'm saying there? Mm-hmm. Meaning the other guys that they've got the safety spots. I mean, I think Josh Proctor, you got a feeling he's going to start. You got a feeling Ronnie Hickman's going to start. Josh Proctor is an over-the-top talent when he's healthy. Looks like he's healthy. We'll see. Obviously, they can surprise us. But that just tells you what Jim Knowles was working with and what he's now working with, if you follow my drift there.
Yep.
And it's a big drift. And so I'm just curious because I like Tanner McAllister a lot. I mean, I just like talking to that guy, but yeah, I think we're all, this is so funny. We're talking about this on the radio. It's so funny how almost everybody I've talked to, and everybody, you and I, Stephen Means sitting over there, I mean, I think we're more eager to see what this defense is about on September the 3rd than we are the offense.
Yes.
And that's usually not the case about a football team. But this is a very curious moment in Ohio State football history, because if they have gotten their act together defensively, this is going to be a hell of a football team.
Yeah, and we'll get to see that in just 11, now 10, when people are watching this days. A lot of intrigue in that secondary. To be honest, Tim, I'm just going to peel back.
Thanks for being honest.
Peel back the curtain, the onion, peel the banana, whatever you want me to say. I'm going to be really honest with you. Didn't learn a lot in there from that secondary. They're confident. All 6 guys can play. The corners should be healthy. But this is as tight-lipped, and I've been around this team for 4 years. You've been around this team for 40 years. I've only been here 4 years. This is as tight-lipped as I can remember anything at Ohio State happening.
Isn't it amazing?
They are not saying anything about
It's
this
like
defense.
they're planning a surprise birthday party for somebody, and yet the guy whose tea leaves you read more than anybody, Jim Knowles, he has really sold the fact that he thinks his defense has come around quickly. He's very confident in what he thinks he's going to put on the field because he's talked about it to us. And of anybody who should be soft pedaling it, you would think, would be the guy that was hired to turn it around, because what if it doesn't work? But there's a confidence factor there that is undeniable.
Yes.
And it's coming from him. And it's coming from Brian Day also. Brian Day likes what he sees on the defensive side of the ball. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a very interesting September 3rd.
Yeah, because it takes a lot to slow down Ryan Day's offense, and I think the defense in this training camp session, the last month of practice, has started to do that a little bit more day after day, slow down this.
And I've told you where I've been excited about it, from just a football standpoint, is the stuff you've heard about just about the defensive line, especially the interior guys on that defensive line. If they can jack their game up big time compared to a year ago, it makes all the difference in the world. It makes those corners look a lot better, makes the safeties look a lot better.
Confused about the defense? Yes, we can agree on that. What we can also agree on is we're just 10 days from football. Ohio State Notre Dame, September 3rd in the Horseshoe at night under the lights for some pretty high stakes considering season opener. Lettermen Row will be there. Lettermen Row will be inside this facility. For the rest of the training camp, reporting on the Buckeyes, making sure we're here. What we're hearing, you guys can find out on the message board at the Lettermen Lounge. Make sure you subscribe to us on the YouTube channel. We'll see you back in here on Wednesday for more Ohio State coverage at Lettermen Row.